Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Arizona Dreams. Today we are in Prescott, historic Prescott, at Whiskey Row. I don't know if you can read that sign, but it says Whiskey Row starts at the bistro. This is Hotel St. Michael. It's known as the cornerstone of Whiskey Row. It's pretty well known, definitely nationally, possibly internationally. Some cool things that we're going to jump right into. Looking at the architecture, I don't know if you can see these nice little circles. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. Those all have faces on them, and they're all disgruntled faces. The rumor is that the original owner of this wanted to go 4 stories, and the town said no, 3 is the max. So he put these faces up there to kind of give them the, if you will. So kind of cool history, and it's still in business today, but now it's got nice little boutiques and shops and stuff like that. Behind us is the square. We're going to circle around to that. So this is what they call the square of Whiskey Row. So Whiskey Row kind of spills over. This is really Whiskey Row, which I started with, but this is the square. They have all kinds of festivals and bands and stuff like that that'll come in. You see the pavilion in the center. I'm not sure what that big building is, but we'll figure that out. So join us as we check out Whiskey Row in Prescott, Arizona. All right, so just something to point out. Prescott is the county seat of Yavapai County, founded in 1864. So if you want to know more about that, you can look that up, but I just wanted to point that out. It's pretty cool. Now we're going to move over here and check out this nice statue. And this big building is Yavapai County's courthouse. Courthouse Plaza. Okay, so centennial tree planted in 2012. Which one's the centennial tree? That one? That one? That one? Poor labeling, guys.
Maybe it's that one.
Maybe.
That looks like it.
So, according to this, World's Oldest Rodeo is in 1888. Now, I know that they just wrapped up the rodeo this past weekend, I believe. Maybe even yesterday they were still doing some stuff. Festivities for the rodeo, so pretty cool. Again, Wild West, baby. 10 statute miles. So we got Mojave County. There. Cochino County, Mojave County. So this would be Yavapai County, Gila, and then Maricopa below it, and over on the side is Iapaz, or La Paz, sorry. I don't know all the Arizona counties. So pretty cool artwork that they have on the courthouse main. Oh, check this out. So this, all the way down and around, is the beginning of Yavapai County's timeline. And it tells you in 1581.
Why is it red?
Visit Jerome. And they discover silver.
Dad, they ripped it.
Where do we get incorporated? Let's walk up a bit. California, 49ers, crosscut. Civil War. It's a neat way to display their history. All right, who's this guy?
Who is this guy?
Have
he used to be real?
But this is a tribute to Roosevelt's Rough Riders and that captain, and then all of his comrades that fell in. And there's a big plaque on the front of there that lists all those guys out. This is Yavapai Courthouse, and this is the center of that square that we were talking about. Point out Montezuma Street, which is actually the name of the street, but historically this was Whiskey Row. And so you see the top one is the actual street sign, and then the historical name there below. There are quite a few, again, boutiques. There's a lot of art. You got the Lone Spur Cafe is another restaurant. There's a saloon over there under Atrium Mall. And there's conveniently on both corners, there's nice big maps that are encased in the
Right
glass.
there on the ground.
Look right there on the ground. Oh, good eye. There's a police tag there. Don't touch. It looks like somebody just stuck that on. But statehood tree is this guy right here. 1912, February 14th. So you got books and gifts, and then a burger and ice cream shop, pie, Goldwater. That's a shout out to Barry Goldwater, who coincidentally stayed at that hotel that I showed you, St. Michael's. So did Roosevelt. So some history for you there. Famous Disney group. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I don't see any specific thing about it, but just a cool lady of justice holding, what is the scale, but I don't see the scale, so nice little fountain, another neat feature for this area. Another thing to be aware of, I told you this is an old, we saw the timeline, this is an old area. Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday both were known to be in this area, and we'll talk about that a little more as we get around to the other side. So again, the Yavapai County Courthouse, the cornerstone there says October 19th, 1916. So this has been around for a while. In fact, this was just featured on the news not too long ago, where they did a private tour for the news station and took them down into the basement and took them also up into the attic and showed them, took them up onto the rooftop actually, and showed them it's one of the best views in the valley. But unfortunately, it's not usually open to the public, but it was pretty cool to see on the news. Another cool thing about the Yavapai Courthouse, which is behind me still, is that they actually restored and maintained one of the original court rooms with all the chairs and everything like that. It's really neat. Again, it was featured on the news, Channel 15 for Phoenix News. So you can check that out. I'm sure that it's online available. But it was really neat to see. That's the City of Prescott building. And then also over here, there's another Prescott, Arizona post office and courthouse building as well. We're now circling around the south part of the square of the plaza. Here we got another home market, the county buildings. Across the street there's the City of Prescott's Chamber of Commerce, and it's also the Visitor Information Center. So if you get questions, you can go in there.
Has that guy in the horn used to be real?
I have no idea. That same sculptor that did the front one did this one, but another tribute to the cowboy heritage for Prescott. All right, we're now rounding the corner. This is Goodwin that we were looking at with the post office and whatnot, and back to Montezuma. I believe this portion over here is considered part of Whiskey Row, but we're not going to head down there. We're going to circle back up to the official Whiskey Row. So let's talk about that. So in 1900, Whiskey Row burnt down. I mentioned that for a couple reasons. One, it's been rebuilt, as you can see, in 1901 and 1902. But also, it was so important to them that they took out a 24-foot long bar from the Palace Saloon, which we're going to be at in a second, and watched the saloon burn down. Saved the bar, kept drinking, and then moved the bar back in 1901. They rebuilt it with the bar inside. So you can actually go into the saloon and drink where Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday actually bellied up to the bar and had whiskey themselves. Pretty cool history. All right, so just pointing out a couple of things that are along the way here. You got another hotel, you got the Whiskey Row Pub, that's a big deal. Prescott Trading Company, Wild at Heart, don't worry about Harley. There's a art gallery here by Ian Russell. And then the claim to fame, the Palace. That's the saloon that I was talking about. We're going to go over there and then be back to that hotel that we started at. Let's check out this statue over here, which is another tribute to the soldiers. This memorial is dedicated to World War I and World War II, Korean War, Vietnam, Persian Gulf War, and the Global War on Terror. All for veterans that have fallen. So that's kind of another dedication. to them, and they have their names there. Well, again, the placard where we started, well, that's where we'll finish. Hotel St. Michael. Supposedly haunted, and you saw the faces and all the other cool stuff. We hope you enjoyed Whiskey Row. You know the drill. Subscribe, share, like, comments down below. Let us know where you want me to go next, and I hope you enjoyed it. Check back for the next video. Take care.